Hello everyone, and welcome to today's introductory lecture for our series on human rights in New Zealand. Thank you very much for coming. I see there's a few of you here. Hopefully that means you're all interested. Perhaps you've seen recent things in the media about Occupy and international revolts such as Egypt and other countries. Hopefully you will understand that the concepts we talk about here are relevant not only here, but overseas, in the future, the past, and today. So, today we'll move on to the concept of what equal rights actually means. Let us define the word equal. It can be defined by as great as, the same as, like or alike in quantity, degree, value, same rank, merit, etc. You get the idea. We know what equal means. 2 and 2 is equal. Half of 4 is equal to 2. We know this. This is basic. But what does this mean when we talk about qualitative values rather than quantitative ones? For those of you who don't know what qualitative and quantitative are, I suggest you Google it because they're very basic concepts. Unlike the concepts of qualitative and quantitative, the concept of equal rights is a bit more complicated. For starters, there's a lot of discussion about what rights people should have, really. Of course, we all agree that we all have the freedom to free speech, but how does the details of that work? Do you have the right to talk if it offends someone, or might incite hatred? No, not really, but do you? It's a question. For the purposes of this, let us just claim ideal rights, 100%, just for the purposes of this discussion. Rather than talking about the actual rights, we'll talk about the amount of rights. It works for a bit. Now, if you'll come over to the whiteboard, we can see a diagram I prepared earlier. Here we go, Mr. Cameraman, if you will. Here you can see a diagram talking about ideal rights. All people should be given this. Full stop. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. You deserve the same rights. But the problem is, a lot of people look at rights in a historical context. They think because a group missed out in the past, they should get more rights now to make up for it. But it doesn't make sense, because when you think about it, that still means one group has more rights than another. More rights does not make things fair. If we want to live in a society that truly does not discriminate, all people should be treated as equal, regardless of historical events, ethnicities, sexuality, etc. Because at the end of the day, we don't live in those times. We live in the now. And even if people did live in those times, it's the past. We can't let the past control what happens today. For example, Hitler was horrible. But we don't blame the Germans for it. It wasn't all of them. And yet we think that even though it's wrong to punish people for what their ancestors did, we should reward people for what their ancestors did. Just because someone's ancestors arrived somewhere first, they have first claim to it? No, it doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, most of us were born here. I don't care if 5 generations of your parents were born here. I was born here. Why does that make you have any more value than me? It doesn't. Yes, maybe some parts of society have shat all over you, but equal rights means equal. Equal means the same. More does not make things equal.